Hi, I'm Lorie Marrero, creator of the Clutter Diet book and online program, and today we're going to talk about being on time or not. I used to be a stickler for being on time, and I have relaxed a great deal about this because of my understanding about some concepts I want to talk about with you today. There are some vocabulary words you may not have heard before that have to do with your relationship to time, and those are polychronic versus monochronic. So monochronic cultures and individuals are very linear in their thinking about time. They do one thing at a time. They're very task-oriented. So you might think about business in the United States, or you might think about Swiss watches or German train schedules. That gives you a pretty good idea what monochronic is about. Polychronic cultures and individuals are more circular versus linear. They multitask a little more easily, and they are more people-oriented versus task-oriented. An example of a polychronic culture is Latin America. So I was married for 23 years to a Puerto Rican man, and I have 2 Puerto Rican children. And I lived in Puerto Rico for a year, and I experienced this polychronic style of culture. So people may show up 2 hours late to a party, and that's okay. And people may not show up on the day that they say they're going to when they come to work on your house. And that is okay in that culture. It's not expected to be exactly by the clock. So that takes some getting used to, but it also, in my case, really mellowed me out about my expectations of what the clock means in my life. Really, if you think about it, we can look at it as a continuum. So on this end of the continuum, you have a rigidity about time, and you completely expect everyone to be to the minute. And on this end of the continuum, you have no respect for anyone else's time, and you are completely in your own time zone. And both of those have negatives associated with them. And I would like to suggest that we all come somewhere in the middle and become situational about our expectations on time. So if you're doing business and there are reasons that time costs money and that you keeping someone waiting is disrespectful, obviously you want to be on time or early. But if you're going to a party, that's a little different. If there is a more casual attitude about this meeting that you're going to, then let's just forgive each other for being 5 or 10 minutes late. I think it's fine. We have to allow for being human. There's always this case where the dog throws up on the carpet before you walk out the door, or something happens that is completely human and normal, and we all have to know that this can happen and just forgive each other for being late sometimes. Also, I want to tell you that I read a study recently that said that optimists are more likely to be late. So I think that's a wonderful quality, to be optimistic, and I see this in myself. Optimists can always underestimate how much time it's going to take because, oh, it's going to be fine. I can get there in 10 minutes, or I can squeeze in one more thing before I go. Everything's going to go smoothly. And then, of course, you're endlessly surprised when the traffic happens or something. But it's nice to know that sometimes people are late because they're just an optimistic person, and that's lovely. So let's forgive ourselves for that as well, and be mindful of it when it's time to be a little more considerate of someone else's schedule. In general, I would just like to start this conversation and make sure that everyone comes somewhere in the middle with this and isn't quite so rigid or quite so disrespectful. I'd love for you to share your comments. Also, it's been a while since we've asked for you to submit your questions for Ask Lorie. I mean, we can answer anything that you want to talk about here on our videos. So we'd love to hear your ideas of what's coming up for you in terms of organizing and your space and your productivity. So submit those questions in the comments, and we'd love to hear what you think about being on time. We'll see you next time, and may you always be happy and grateful for having more than enough.